Okay, we are back, and I want to tell you several steps that I have done with this basket in preparation for the next weave that you're going to be learning. The first thing is I did let my base dry out before I started again today, so I have sprayed it with water so that it's once again wet and the spokes are flexible. I've checked the base to make sure it still has the correct diameter, which, as we know, the dimensions are 3 by 3. And I have also kind of clothespined my edges to keep that diameter so that it's not going to, hopefully not going to shift on me and create a different size base from what I want. I'm trying to get my camera a little bit better for you. The other thing I'm going to do now is, because patterns are copyrighted, I am going to refer you back to your pattern for different things, number of rows and things like that, the type of reed we're using. And I'm going to just mainly discuss the weaving technique so that you're comfortable with how to do those, and then you can complete them according to the pattern, Sharon's beautiful seagrass basket pattern. I'm working with my base flipped over now. I turned it over so that the flat side of the flat oval reed is down. And I also have put the next material here. It's going to be a little bit hard to see, but I have put it behind 3 consecutive spokes going counterclockwise. So 1, 2, 3. I have it clipped here just to hold it. You can press down on the basket to kind of keep it there if you wish. If you do have clothespins or some kind of a hair clip or something that you can clip it with, that does make things easier. And I will take this clip off in a minute just to show you. I need to go past the corner to be able to do this weave. So again, we're working counterclockwise, which is going to feel a little bit weird. It feels great to me because I'm a lefty, but for you, if you're right-handed, there is a reason why we're doing it counterclockwise at this stage, but just know that you're going to be working toward the left, from right to left. And this is called a 3-rod wale or triple twining. I'm going to take the reed that is the furthest to the right, which those of you who know triple twining are probably going, it's usually the left, but we're going counterclockwise, so we have to take the one farthest to the right, go over 2 spokes and behind 1. And that is my first pass. Now I'm going to take the next one to the right, go over 2 spokes, and this time I need to go, oops, about to do it wrong. Go over 2 spokes, which is all the way to the corner, and behind 1, which is my first spoke here. That's a different color, blue. And then the third one to the right goes over 2 and behind 1, which brings it around the corner. So now I've got one at the corner, one around the corner, and one spoke past the corner. I'm going to turn it so that you can once again see it from the top. I always work from the one farthest to the right, over 2, behind 1. That's my next. Pull it down so it's nice and tight. 1 to the right, over 2 spokes, behind 1, and out. Starting from the right, over 2, behind 1, and out. So you can see now it's creating a nice little woven pattern here, and we're going to keep going. Over 2, behind 1, and out. Okay, now I'm going to stop here for a minute because I want you to go all the way around the basket. And when you get back to the very first spoke that we started, before you pass that spoke, you need to stop, and I'm going to show you what's called a step up. So we do consult your pattern for the number of rows that we do here. Just know that after every row, when we get back to the starting spoke, and you can even put a pencil mark on it to make sure you know which one it is, when we get back to that, before we pass it, we have to do a step up. So I'm going to pause the video now and finish my row, and then I will show you what a step up looks like. All right, as you can see, I have gone all the way around the basket, and a couple of things I want you to be aware of. As we do this twining, triple twining, you need to make sure that your spaces between the spokes stay consistent. You also want to have it as close to the base as you can. So just keep pushing it down, packing, we call this packing it in. You also want to try to catch these little tails of the seagrass so that they'll be caught up in this triple twining and we can trim them off. And you'll see that I have gotten to, let me pull this down so you can see it a little bit better. This is where I started. This is my first, this one. This is my first spoke. You can see that I've stopped with this reed before I passed the starting spoke here. And a step up starts from the left side. In this case, it's the opposite end, and goes over to and behind one. Then you go to the next one on the left, go over to and behind one. And then finally the last one on the left, over to and behind one, which resets your triple twine. Now I have the three coming out and the three spokes that I started with. You can see that. You always know when you've done a triple twine correctly because it marches, comes out behind three spokes in a row. So it's coming out from behind this one, and this one. And now I'm ready to continue. I've done a complete first row. I'm going to continue this, follow your pattern for the number of rows that are specified. And then we're going to do kind of what's called upsetting the basket. That means we're going to, once again, flip it over and bend the spokes up and start on the sides. So I will do that and I'll catch up with you when we're ready to do the upset. All right, I have done my triple twine row, and now according to the pattern, I am ready to bend these spokes up. I have flipped it back over. The flat side is now once again facing me. I'm looking at the bottom of the basket rather than the top as we were before. And to bend them up, you're just going to gently bend these spokes toward the basket. I wouldn't go all the way. I would just do, you know, a partial bend. But you want to do that all the way around the edge of the basket, right at the twining row, the triple twine row. And then we will continue doing the triple twining up the side of the basket. And once again, I want you to check your pattern for how many rows you do, and that will complete our triple twine. Be sure on each row that you do end with a step up, because that gets the pattern back the way it should be. And I will join you once again when I have completed that part and show you what it looks like. Okay, a couple of things that may help you when you're doing this triple twining on the outside of the basket, and that is if you clip the corners together, you'll see I have a blue and a natural reed clipped together. It helps to hold it in a shape. You don't want to keep that on too long as we keep going, because it will actually make it maybe bend the wrong way. But for the purposes of getting working on the outside, it may help. And also I found that if I turn the basket on its side and weave along and kind of press the spokes down as I do the triple twining, that also helped me. So hopefully that'll help you a little bit. We do want these rows really close together. So just kind of check. You see I'm going around the edges, just kind of smushing it down, making sure that these edges of the rows are really close together. And I do want to show you, I'm going to reposition the camera so maybe you can see this a little bit better. So bear with me for just a moment. When we get to the end of the step up on the last row, and when you put your ending reed behind the spoke, you really just cut it off right there. So I'm going to cut this off so that it falls behind this spoke, and then just tuck it in down there. And for now, I may just clip it just to make sure it stays. You're going to do that with all three of the ends of your spokes. And again, because you're ending between three consecutive spokes, you're going to be cutting it off behind those three consecutive spokes. And then we start with a different technique with the seagrass skin. So that's it.